Okay. So fine.
Just open the
Sure.
because we did sample codes. I'll open it in Moodle now.
Okay. Do you
No, yeah, no, no, yeah. I use university. No, maybe I
you something like you don't need to translate it.
in English. So it's gonna be easier. Okay. Huh. Log in, right? Where? Your correct.
Good.
This one. Okay. Um, yeah, this one. This one. He asked us to. We made this one. No, no, not really. We discussed this one, but come on. What he introduced us. Um,
Political data is also.
we started with database first.
Wow, he did only
This one.
he did many complex things.
Yeah, database first. This
Okay.
one.
Okay.
What he taught us is, I think this one. This.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You didn't understand this one.
I understood, but you know the loop thing,
Mm-hmm.
like the complete thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The number into
Yeah.
and is equal to uh, integer x is equal to 0. Okay, here's the value.
Mm-hmm.
Integer number 5 is equal to 1. 1 is greater than or equal, less than,
Mm-hmm.
less than, the value of n is 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then I, the value of I is 1. Then we increase it twice. Right? That's what I understood. Okay. Then x is equal to x plus I. This is the time I put it there. This is
Good.
the loop, right?
This is the loop. You have to understand how this loop works, how it works. So
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna explain this one. Then he just explained this thing or anything else?
He explained this thing and he tried to do this one.
Okay.
But he knows that, our four lines.
Just reading code won't help you if you don't understand things.
I don't know, but maybe aware that it's explaining it. This is the code he was saying.
Okay, no.
Maybe
Did he also explain his basic DB access cloud?
yeah, maybe. Yeah, the object.
What?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, okay. At least you need to note down that what he taught. I can explain everything, it's not a problem, but at least you need to know that what he taught and what he didn't.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yes. But
Okay,
I think he will repeat it again.
repeat it again.
But,
Okay, no worries. I
but
think he didn't teach them too much thing. I was worried because in programming there are many concepts you need to know. Basic is not that much easy. There are few concepts like this one. I'll write one by one. You have to understand those things. This loop is not tough. If you get the idea how loop works, then this thing is nothing to you. It will nothing to you. Okay. So do you want me to start with this one
yes,
or anything else?
that's this one.
Okay.
That's the loop.
Just the loop, and before the loop, I will also explain this. What does this thing means,
Okay.
and why this is the main thing we need to write
Every time.
and what is this thing?
Some numbers.
Some numbers. I will explain few things and I will note it down so that you can understand it clearly. Okay. So let us explain. So first thing is that we need to install Java. So environment installation. What does it mean? I can save this file somewhere. Maybe you can upload it later somewhere else. So, right. Actually, my computer RAM was also 4 GB, so I faced a lot of issues. It was really slow for me.
Okay.
Now,
I have to
then before coming here, I upgraded it to 8 GB, so it's good enough now. It's not a problem. You don't need to buy a new laptop. You just can maybe upgrade the RAM. Maybe you can any computer repairing center. It's this type. Put it inside. Yeah, we have to open this one. Okay. So firstly, what we are doing, we're gonna learn Java. What is Java? What does it do? What is the purpose of Java? Do you know? Do you have any idea? It's a coding platform. What is coding? Why do we need code? What's the purpose of code? So that we can write and we can pass the exam.
No. The end users of these applications could.
Yeah. This is the backend. Yeah. So
What we are seeing are this front end.
these things are front end.
That's why everything is like end users perspective, like I could just write it, I will just click it, but behind that, for example, when I click this one, it goes in this way, blah 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 blah.
So the most easiest example is the calculator.
The calculator.
This is the calculator. So suppose we want to build a calculator like this one, but we can't build it in a day because Microsoft invested lots of money, lots of people, and lots of data to build this one. But we can make the basic structure of this calculator. What this calculator do? It do something like this one. Maybe we can put 2 plus 6.
Yeah.
What is this thing? We have 2.
Yes.
And we are adding it with what? 6. What would be our answer? What would be our answer? 8. So when we press equal, we get 8. How does it happen? It happens like that. Beside this program, some codes are running. Maybe they have written it in C# or C++ or C programming or Python or Java. We don't know. We don't have to bother about it. There are lots of programming languages.
The manual calculator.
Yeah. Inside the manual calculator, there is microprocessor. It is a small computer. You can think that it's not computer, but it's like a computer. There is microprocessor, and inside this microprocessor, there are some programs like this one that we're gonna write. Okay, so now we will do something. Maybe we will write a program to add 2 numbers. This would be our main purpose. This is the basic. So with this program, we can make a create a software like this calculator.
Mm-hmm.
If we add graphics and other things, we will get something like this one. But we will not introduce any graphics and any complicated things.
Just
We'll
from
just maybe we'll build a calculator which can take input like this one, maybe 2. It will take input 2, then maybe we will add 2 plus 2, or maybe we will give an input 2, then it will ask for another number and it will add and it will show the answer here. Do you get my point? So why do we need program? Because every applications running any computer system are made of some building block of codes. Okay, maybe we are using Photoshop. We're not doing any code, but behind the code there are some programs inside the Photoshop.
when you click this
When you click this on, something happens inside. What happens? This is code.
yeah.
No, so understand the thing? Everything is happening inside the computer is code.
Okay.
So how can we do code? We can write in machine language like 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 0. It's binary sequence. So everything in the end is binary to the processor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the processor is reading binary. There is some pattern which processor recognize that well, the user is giving me some input to add or to edit or add or subtract or multiply or something. But we don't do that because we can't memorize all the stuff in binary. Suppose you are sending some message to your friend. Is it possible to remember all the binary of all the characters and all the binary, maybe the IP address of Facebook? You're sending some message to Facebook. You need to remember everything in binary. So you can't do this, or we never do this. So what do? We make an abstraction. What is this abstraction? Means we write code in readable language. Readable language. So maybe something like that. I will ask computer add 2 plus 2. So computer will somehow know that we need to do what? We need to do some addition.
Yeah.
2 and 2, maybe we don't miss this plus sign, maybe add 2 comma 2, something like this one. So this thing would be converted into what? In the end, this thing will be converted into binary. Which is readable to the processor.
Yes.
It's like something like that. If I go to China, if I want to communicate with the Chinese people, what do I need to know? Mandarin. If I need to know the language. I need to know the language. For computer, they only know is what? Binary. But we human, for us, it's really difficult to remember all the binary. For this thing, what do? We write code in some human readable language
That will be
converted to binary. So there is something, this conversion. So we need to convert. What do we need to do? We need to convert something. So get my point? So what do? We read some human readable code and it is converted to some
binary.
It is convert. Indeed, it will be converted to binary, which will be executed by the processor, RAM, cache, hard disk. Everything is involved with this thing. But processor is the main thing which does everything actually. So I can just write processor. You get my point? So now this human code can be written in any language. This human readable code, we can write some programming languages. We call it what? This is called programming language. There are many programming languages. XML, UML. Those are actually, UML is something different. It's called, I forgot the abbreviation, but it's different. XML is markup language. Ultimately, it converts into binary. But specifically, if we say that something is programming, there is something related to logic. Something logical is here. You get my point? Suppose we are adding two numbers. There is some logic. We need to add something with another something. So there is some logic. But if we want to just show something, we don't need any logic. Suppose you want to go to a website, wikipedia.com. If you press wikipedia.com, it's just showing you some some text. We don't need any logic here. But if we are gonna add two numbers or multiply two numbers, there is some mathematical logic how to solve the problems. So whenever we go to Wikipedia, we are just seeing basically some static page. So we can assume that it is HTML. There is no logic behind, but there is lots of logic because it's not pure HTML.
Yeah.
So you don't need to remember that some backend work is going on. But what we are getting, we're getting a HTML page. We don't need any logic, front-end logic. But if we want to add two numbers, do some multiplication, or maybe we want to write a program, or maybe alarm clock, something like that, we need to give it a logic that you need to take some time from the user, and at that time you need to say good morning, you have some alarm. So there is some logic, the time is some logic. So these programming languages are mainly those things. The Java, there are many programming languages. These things are high-level programming languages. Java, C, C++, Python. There are lots of programming languages. Other also. So these things are popular. There's C Sharp, Objective C, and many other programming languages also. We don't say HTML, CSS, those things are not programming languages. Those things are called markup languages because those things are basically used to show something. It can't do any logical thing. HTML, CSS basically can do any logical thing. JavaScript is a programming. We can use logic here. So JavaScript also programming language. It's also sort of programming language. It is called scripting language.
You told me that it's an HTML,
Yeah, the designing. No, the moving part is done with JavaScript because it's logic. The CSS is beautification, the cosmetics. The HTML is just to show text. Just to say text. Suppose we are this thing is a HTML page, but here we have some color. You know, this blue color or what color? That is done with CSS. Whenever we click this one, this thing will collapse. This thing that is done with JavaScript. So there is some logic going on. Whenever I click this one, this happens. There is logic. If I click this one, it will expand. So this is called logic. So this logic is done with JavaScript. So these things are programming languages. JavaScript, maybe PHP. These things, there are some specific names called. These things are called what? Scripting language. You don't need to remember these things, but you just need to understand that so what if code we want to make the computer understand that I want to talk to you or I want to do some work with you. So I need to give some instruction. How we will give the instruction? We'll write code for that. So how can we do code? We can choose any of the programming languages. C, Python. I'm already telling something like this one. I can also write my own programming language. But if I want to write my own programming language, what I have to do? I have to write this thing, convert thing. Something to convert it to what? To binary. So do you get that? So when I say Java, C++, Python, C Sharp, so for every programming language there is some converter. There is some what? Converter. This converter is called interpreter or compiler. This converter is called compiler or interpreter. Interpreter is little bit different, but you can just assume that both are same. So what does this compiler do? Convert to what? Binary, which will be executed by the processor or computer or our computer. So for this Java, we need somewhat converter. For this C++, we need some converter. For this Python, we also need some converter because we are writing code in high-level programming languages. What is high-level programming language? That is human-readable code. So we will learn a specific language, we will speak in a specific this language, but it will be ultimately converted to binary. Get my point? So I'll write some of the compiler for Java. It is called JDK. Java Development Kit. For C or C++, actually they are two different, GCC or G++. The name of the
Okay.
compiler. For Python, the compiler name is Python.
Python. So
It's
Python
a
company
made
converted.
converted. So what does this compiler do? Inside this compiler, some code is written. What's
There's
the code
another
written?
language.
There is another code written. This is a software. So there
What,
another code is written.
why
What
do
does
we need compiler? Why does this programming language they like to be converted to binary?
actually this whenever we are talking about any programming languages, we are mainly talking about the compiler itself. So we give the compiler some instruction,
Okay.
it compiles it and makes some processor readable code or binary code. So you get my point. So why does programming language can do that? Programming language itself is built on some compiler. Without compiler we can do anything. Because if I say if I say something this computer, if we don't have any compiler, then how can it convert it to binary? Because processor only needs binary. So whenever we're talking about Java, so we are writing some text, and how the text will be converted to binary through JDK, Java Development Kit. Yep. Sun Microsystem, Oracle, maybe they're handling this thing. Same thing also happened for C, C++. When we were talking about C programming languages, what actually we are talking about? We are writing some code in human readable format, in C programming format. These will be converted to binary. Who will convert this thing? Converter, compiler. See, to get my point? So, and the thing is that for C, we have a specific syntax because the GCC knows that exact syntax. Syntax is the thing we have to speak in Java. It's like language. Suppose, how do you call I love you in Filipino? Okay. In Bangla we call it আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি.
Okay.
So if I want to make the computer understand that I love it, how can I understand it? How can make it understand? I will write code in Java, something like this one. I love you. So this is the syntax in Bengali. In Filipino, the thing you told, that is the syntax. So if you want to express someone that you love them, you have to say like this one. If you say something different, he do not understand. If it's the people he might understand, you can you can tell him different way or maybe different. But for computer, it's a dumb machine. We need to make it understand. So we have to give it a specific syntax. We can make any error here. So do you understand my point? You can explain someone that I like you, I have a crush on you, I have something, I feel something for you. The person can understand. The compiler can't understand it. It has a specific syntax. We have to talk like that. So for Java, we have a specific syntax, just like Bengali. আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি. Just like Filipino. You have another type. For Java, we have this type of specific structure, and in this structure, we have to explain it. Do this, do that, do this thing that way. You get my point? For C++, it has a different syntax. Because if both of them, all of them are same, then there would be different programming languages. There would be only one programming language. Get my point? So for Java, there are some syntax. For C, C++, there are other syntaxes. For Python, syntax is different. Same concept. So what we have to do, we need to know the syntax, how to make the computer understand with Java. So the JDK has some specific format language. We need to talk to JDK with that language. So if you want to say some Bengali, আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি, either you have to say it in English if he knows, and if he doesn't know, what you have to say, আমি তোমাকে ভালোবাসি. Then he would know that you like her or love her. So the JDK is also expecting some specific format code or human readable code. Do you get my point? We will give it that specific format code, and this JDK will convert it to binary, and it can be run by the processor. So do you get my point? So now where are we? Now our purpose is to study this human readable code.
Mm-hmm.
All the basic concepts are almost same in every language, but the syntax, the name, I love a person. What does it mean? I feel for her, or there is some interaction between us. That's why. So the concept is same. Either it's in Bengali, if I say it in Bengali, then it's the concept is same. I love that person. If you say it to Filipino, the concept is love. So maybe I want to ask the computer, add two numbers. I can either say it with Java.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to say with Java, I have to write it in Java code
Okay.
and I have to compile it with JDK. But if I want to say it in C or C++, I need to write it in C, C++ syntax or C, C++ type of code, and we need to compile it with GCC or G++. So do you get my point? Common point is this thing. We will write something in specific language, and it will be, and we will use a compiler converter to convert it into binary. So what are the common things in programming languages? The thing is that suppose basic ideas. I'll say some basic ideas, then I will go deep into because this basic ideas is language independent. Because you know the love same. For Java, the basic idea is same. For C, C++, the basic idea. For Python, the basic idea is same. But maybe you need to write it in their own syntax. Okay? Do you get my point? Okay. So first basic idea is variable. The first basic idea is variable. What is variable? Variable is something just it may be characters, it can be numbers. So if, whenever we are talking to computer, maybe it need to save something. How do we save these things? Through variable. We're not saving a whole file, or I'm not talking about any file systems or anything. I'm just talking about I will give some data to computer and it will store it for short time. So here I wrote 2 plus 6. So this 2 is a variable. We can say that 2 is a we can store 2 in a variable. Maybe we can give it a name. 2 plus 2 plus 6. We can say that a variable a equals to 2. To get my point, we can say another variable b equals to 6. So why it is variable? Variable means that it can be changed. We can change the value of this thing. This value of a is what now? 2. The 2. We can think that is a bucket, and inside the bucket we have 2. So do you get my point? Do you have one paint?
It's fine.
I don't know why. Variable is something like bucket. Okay. So this bucket is reconfigurable. So the name of the bucket is A. And what did we put? Okay, right. This is A. And what I put here? I put 2 here. So if I change it to maybe A equals to 5, then this bucket will be removed. 2 would be removed and it will be replaced by what? 5. That's why it is called variable. This is called variable. What is the purpose of variable? Suppose we wrote a plus b. The system understands that 2 plus 6. Suppose inside b we have 6. The system will understand, okay, the value of a is 5 and the value of b is 6. It will be 11. The system will understand this thing. Do you get my point? But under the hood, what is happening when it will convert it to binary? After conversion, this a will be mapped to memory location, some computer memory locations, because whatever we are saving will be saved in our memory.
Memory.
So computer will allocate some memory for this
Yes.
A. It will also allocate some memory for B. So if you think that it is our RAM or maybe cache or any memory, so inside the memory there is some location, and inside this location this binary number of this 5 will be set.
Okay.
So this A is just pointing to this location.
Okay.
Do you get my
Yes.
point? So this is variable. Why do we need that? To keep track that the value we don't remember, because this value might change, but we can remember that
Is equal to 5.
A is equal to 5. We can change the value later. So do you get my point? So whenever we want to store some value in some place in programming language, we need what? Variable.
Variable.
And we have different types of variable. Suppose it can be number, it can be what? It can be integer number,
It could be anything.
it could be a message, then it is called string. Then this thing is called string variable.
Okay.
If it is just a single character, it is called character. If it is a number, maybe 1, 800, it is called integer. But if it is decimal, maybe 10.22, it is called float or double. So you get my point? Because to store different number, we need different size of memory. That's why to different programming languages has different type of syntax. Because in Java, this is written as string, capital S, small t-r-n-g. In this char,
What's
it's
bar
short from, yeah, Archer is this is also characters, but this syntax is for SQL.
Okay. Yes.
So program the syntax changes programming language to programming language. This integer is the short form int. Float double is same as it is.
Okay.
So suppose if we do something like this one, float a equals to 12.2.
Okay.
So our Java compiler or JDK would understand this thing. What would it understand? It understand that I'm asking him some memory for, and the memory is pointed by which character? A. And what I am storing? 12.2. So it will take some space in our RAM or maybe hard disk, and it will store this 12.2 in binary format on that location. 1111 thing. We don't need to remember this thing. If you want to learn, I can also teach you later.
taught me a bit last time.
Yeah, because these things ultimately will be binary. So you get my point? So if I want integer number, we can suppose int h equals to maybe 23. So this 23 will be stored in some memory location. And how can we understand this memory location? Through age. Previously, these things are tracked by some number, some memory number. But in Java, it's high-level language. We don't need to remember anything about memory location. That's why the variable comes. So do you get my point? If we don't have any variable, what we need to do? We have some memory,
Okay.
and the memory is uh, fragmented with some addresses, like the street addresses or some addresses. So we want to put some number to some place. So these 23 can be put at some number, some memory location. Previously, in low-level languages, not Java, not C++, assembly or previous that, this number is tracked, this memory number is tracked by some numbers. Now, day by day, the technology advanced, so the programmers has made variable so that the programmer don't need to think about which memory address it is pointing. We just need to know we're gonna store some number, and what we need for that? Variable. Get my point? So this syntax is for basically Java. Maybe for C it's also same, but in C there is no string variable. It's a different. There is another concept called array. You don't need to remember that one, because if you want to learn, I can teach later. Just don't need to put too much information. I'm just writing it so that we can keep track of things. So, do we know what is variable and how do we need that? Yeah, it's a high level language.
Yeah, so that the machine will understand
Yeah.
that, for example, is equal to this one, or age is equal to 23.
23.
Yeah.
Yes, a is equals to 23. So it will store this 23 in binary format in some memory space, and this memory space is pointed by this name,
Okay.
this age. This age is the variable, and we can change the value of that memory space through this variable age. If I change it to next line, maybe age equals to maybe 26, this value, this 23 value will be replaced by 26.
Okay.
So do you get me? That's why it's called variable, because it will vary. It will vary. And there is another concept called constant. We can fix the value like pi, 3.1416. This is a constant. We can use another specific syntax for that one also. But for this one, we just need to know.
So for example,
Okay.
like our age, like
Mhm. So we can use two variables. Just we don't need to go deeper. Just think that we want to store 20 to 40. Suppose we can store two variables from age to age. Just think like this one. Maybe we want suppose we store age 20 to 40. The thing we can do, we can introduce 20 integer variable int age1 equals to 20, int age2 equals to 21. You get my point, or you're not getting it one? Int age3 equals to 23, and it will go like 40. Int age for maybe 20 equals to 40. We can do this type of thing, or maybe the thing can we do int age equals to 20, int 2age equals to 40. So if we understand all of these things are Java, in Java. int, no, just forget about this space thing.
It's not.
No, it's nothing. Two lines are physically separate. How Java will understand that these two lines are different? This semicolon. This semicolon is important, and we need to give the data type also, because this int means that this variable can only hold integer number. If we take float weight, this thing Java will understand. We can store decimal to this variable. To get my point?
Yes.
So your question is the answer of this array. What is this array means? We have 20 edges, but maybe suppose you want to compute age group from 1 to 100. Then you need array.
So
it's a little bit different. This is something like that one. Let me explain. Int third bracket age equals to new int. You don't need to remember anything. You just understand this thing. Here, can I create another? I think I can. Use this one. Okay, so I'll create. So when I say int a, what it is doing inside the RAM, it is creating a space. Okay. For this a, it is allocating 4 byte of space. You don't need to remember byte, but it's allocating specific amount of memory. So we can store maybe 3. So 3 will be binary format stored here. When we are giving it the third bracket and specifying some numbers, so what it will do, it will take 100 of this space sequentially. So do you get my point? I'll give it 3 to understand. So it will allocate a bigger space sequential. It will divide to 3. So whenever we say something like that, age of 0 equals to maybe 20, it it's in programming language it's called indexing. Indexing, yeah.
Because
This 0 is called index.
this one.
This 0, yeah.
What?
And 0 is starting index. In computer we don't start with 1.
One.
Index is started with 0. So this is the first
Zero.
element is 0 index.
One.
1 is here start.
Two.
2
And
index.
that's like what if I
In
this case.
yeah, three spaces. So this age variable is pointing to this area. This age is pointing to this area. So what does this? We are allocating this age of 0. So first in the first position we are putting 20. Inside the RAM there will be some sequential memories for how many numbers? Three numbers. It will expect three numbers. But we can't put four numbers here because we are saying it. We will get three. So if we want to age maybe 0, 1, maybe 10, and age 2, maybe 99. Old person. So 10 will be allocated here, 99 will be allocated here. This is how the array works. So if we have 1000 numbers, we can initialize an array of 1000 and it would be sequentially huge chunk of memory.
But 20 is an age itself or number? What does it mean?
This is number. Computer doesn't know it is age or what. Computer has doesn't have any idea about what this number is. But we the programmer have the idea. We are storing some age here. We need to understand. How do we understand? This variable, we will give some readable name to this variable. That is age. So from this variable we can understand that we are doing something with age. So that's why we use this variable age.
Okay.
You can give different name also.
Yeah, and then you were saying that it's gonna be in three.
Yeah, three spaces.
What's 20? I mean, what's 20 here?
This 20 means that we have
1 to 20. Like
no. We're just putting the binary value of 20 here. Age, a simple age. Maybe you are storing age of all of your family members.
Okay.
So suppose your brother has a children of whose age is 2,
Okay, get it.
and maybe another
Okay, get it.
nephew, maybe some of cousins age is 10, yeah, and your grandmother age is 99, something like that one.
So if it's gonna be this one, it's gonna be 40.
40. So what we would do, we're not gonna use this like this thing. We could do this one. We could initialize 40 variables, 100 variables, but we don't need to do that because we can use this array. If we take 40 here, then how many age we can hold here? 40 ages. So 0, 1, 2. Now we can also hold age of 3. This is maybe 5 age. Then we can take more up to age 39.
Okay.
Do you get my point? These two. This thing can be done with loop. We will understand it later. But here we are declaring different variables. Int, just see that. Int age 1, age 2, age 3, age 4. But here we will give the computer that what is the age of the fifth member. We will give age of 4. It will understand that I am asking it for the fourth position of this chunk of memory. We don't need to remember 40 variables. We just need to remember one variable. That is age. And this age of 0. 0th index is pointing to the first element. 1 is pointing to the second. 2 is pointing to the third. To get my point? While this one, there will be something like this one. This one is called age1. This is point here. There will be age2. It will be point here. So these are different variables. A lot of this one. Different names. And all these things will be sequential. So we can understand. Sometimes we need to know the 39th number of people's age. So we can just say that age of 38. Do you get my point? But we can't declare maybe this is. I think we can initialize 20 variables, but we can't initialize 200 variables. Do you get my point? If we want to declare 2000 variables, we can't do it. Just this type of thing. Then we need array of data. So this is nothing but same value, multiple, same type of many values.
Okay.
I told you that in, do you remember what is this string?
That's for messages.
That's for any text
Text.
field. In C language, there is no string variable type.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that? We use array of characters. We use what? Array of characters. What does this mean? It means that this message will be saved as like this one in string M A S S
Mm-hmm.
A
That
maybe
is
G.
making
It means
message.
CHAR third bracket equals to new
Message.
char
Huh.
of, I don't know how many characters, 1 2 3 4 5.
Okay.
So do you get my
Yes,
point?
yes,
So
yes.
all the we have 5 consecutive space
Yeah. Okay.
for each one. This first one is M, E is binary will be located here, S here, S here, A here.
Okay. Okay.
So do you get my point? This is called array.
Okay.
So why C doesn't have any string variable? They didn't create any because they knew that we can do it by array of characters.
Okay.
Do you get my point? And these things can be manipulated by loop. We didn't start to loop things yet, so that's why this thing is not clear yet over yet, but we'll read it, we'll go to it. So the thing is that, so what is variable? Do you get it now?
Yeah, but I can get it when someone is, I mean, I could understand it, but I'm not that,
You don't need to elaborate now because we are gonna solve some problems. Then you will understand what is the purpose of this variable. So you just need to know the name. There is something named variable. This is a common concept in all the programming languages. This is called variable. So now another common concept is called loop. Beside loop, before loop, we will go to another concept is called condition. Condition is, yeah, good. Loop, and we will know function. We will study these few things. Then I think these are the common in every programming language. So you just need to know the concept. So what does this condition mean? Suppose I will ask you, if I'll give you a number and you will say that if the number is positive or negative. Okay, so I'll ask you some questions, you'll give me answer. 5 positive, minus 2 0, it's not positive, negative. How do you do that? How do you do that? You check every number, and if it is greater than 0 or equal to 0 or less than 0. So if it is greater than 0, this number is what? Positive. If the number is less than 0, it is negative. And if equal, then it is 0. Universal is 0. This is the condition. How do you know that a number is even or odd? Yeah. What is the logic of behind the number is positive? Yeah. Odd or even? Every? Yeah, you can say that, but there is another logic. I can, yeah. Just divide it by 2 and take the remainder.
Okay. So the computer will understand that this is
Yeah, computer understand by 2. Computer divides it by 2, take the remainder and check if the remainder is 1, then obviously the number is odd. Ultimately it's 1 and 0. So this is called logic. How 11 is 1? We will divide it by 2 and we get a remainder. We don't need to think about divided the answer. We want the remainder. If we divide 11 by 2, we will get 1 as remainder. So it's an odd number. If you take any of the even number, if you divide by 2, there would be no remainder. It means the remainder is always 0. So the conclusion is something like that. So for odd and even numbers, it is something like that. If remainder equals to 0, then it is even.
This is basic.
This is basic. I'm not
Okay.
writing any syntax. Even
Yeah.
even Java is different also. I'm just writing the syntax.
Yes.
Just basic ideas.
I mean, this is how you make computer
Understand, yeah. Because in C you have some specific structure. In Java,
Mm-hmm.
in C and Java almost same. But in Python or other languages different.
Okay.
So if the remainder is given, how computer calculates? Suppose we have the number like this one, number mod 2. This mod syntax is used to find remainder. This modulo, yeah, percentage.
Percentage. Okay.
So if the number is, so what this thing is done, this thing means that we are dividing the number with 2
Okay.
and taking the remainder.
Okay.
And if the remainder is 0, it will be equal to 0.
Okay.
It will be what? Equal to 0.
Zero.
If it is 0, then the number is even.
Okay.
If it is not 0, then it will come to else.
Because there's only two answers.
0 and 1. Do you get my point? But if we want to make the program of positive negative, make it if, then the thing would be something like this one. If number greater than 0,
Mm-hmm.
then this number would be positive. Then there is another condition. So that's why it is called else if.
Okay.
If this one, neither else. If you want to use second condition, then we need to write else if. There is something like this one. If 1 equal to 0, then it would be what? It
Zero.
would be 0. Else, the number would be always what? Negative. Or you can also this thing is totally 100% right. Or if you want, you can write this thing also. So number less than 0, but there is no point of writing this thing. You can write this one, but you can write just else also, because if these two things are positive, these else will always execute. Yeah, all others, yeah. Make go into this condition, yeah, yeah. So do you get my condition? What is the condition? So the syntax of this condition is something like that. If condition is true, then execute this one, or else if there is any other condition,
Okay. That's the syntax.
we have to write our code here.
Oh.
That is not good. This is, I'm just making it under discuss. There might be another else if, another computation. In the end, there will be just else block. So this if else if, this second bracket is the programming syntax, but this condition is true. This thing is, we need to write it in our code, in our syntax. This thing are pure syntax, number equal to 0. Just think that we can't use single equal, because single equal is for assigned variable. Did you understand? We did this thing, so computer will be confused.
So if it's gonna be condition,
Double equal. Do you understand? So it can be greater equal. So the conditions, the condition would be something like this one. So how the condition might be? Maybe 0 equal to 0. Yeah, this condition is true. This is a true condition. Okay. And 0 equal to 1. Yeah, this is the condition. This is the condition. True is, forget about this true. This the value. This is the syntax. This syntax will give you true because this thing is true. So do you get my point? If this condition is true, this block will be executed. Because inside this block there will be some code. Get my point? But this thing is not true. 0 equal to 1? No. So this thing is not true. This is false. So this block will not execute. It will come here and it will check if this condition satisfies. If it doesn't satisfy, it will come here. And none of the conditions satisfied, it will go to else. So far we have studied what? Variables, conditions, array. I will give more examples. I'll give practical examples. And so far I am just telling you the basic concepts. Okay. And we'll go to maybe something may be confusing to you because maybe I'm writing syntax and I'm not writing syntax also, because this if is syntax, but this condition is true is not syntax. This is explanation. I'm trying to explain it this way so that you can understand better. Whenever I write code, there are lots of resources to read these concepts, but there is no resources you will get like this one. This is the problem.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like you are going to figure it out by the code itself.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. If it doesn't work, why?
Fine.
With the code itself, then create a problem.
Yeah.
Then you just
Anyway, so and there is another thing. Suppose you want to show something on the computer, there is some method like this one. Print something.
yeah, and so
It shows it. So
yeah.
the thing I wrote here, it's not a computer program. So maybe we need to write something like that. Printf, something like this one. So it is language independent. In C it is printf, but in Java it is called system.out.println.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah, it should be here. I know that. Yeah, yes. Yeah, this.
Yeah.
So this line, what does it? This line means? It means that show this thing
The
to
output of the
program,
program.
which will be showed in the console or anywhere interface. Yeah. If you don't put any system on println, you will not see anything. So if you want to see that what is happening, you need to print it.
Okay.
So this is the printing.
Okay.
This is a function. I will explain it what's this function. That's why I didn't save it. So this 0 should be printed, positive should be printed, or something like that. Get my point? Okay. So now come to loop. I'll start with for loop or while loop. Which one?
We start with for loops.
Let me start with while loop. It will be easier for you. Yeah.
While?
Yeah. There are 3 types of loops.
Okay.
I think the main purpose is loop,
Okay.
but syntax, different syntax. The thing I told you, you're gonna say, you want to say someone, I love you. You can say it different way, but the purpose is same. So for loop, there are 3 syntaxes, but the purpose is same. But the structure of writing is different. I'll write it, then you understand this. So, while loop,
While.
to while loop, yeah, and for loop. So, do you remember the syntax of for? If how it works? If inside the first bracket there should be some condition. The while loop is same. The while loop is same. Suppose you can write something like while true, then you can write something like system.out.println.
Okay.
Like
While it is true, the system will print.
and this thing is always true because true is a keyword in Java. That means that it is true.
Okay.
This line will be printed infinitely in your every time.
Okay.
But we don't want anything like this one. Suppose we want to make the computer show from 1 to 100. From 1 to 100. It's gonna be a loop because suppose if I want to ask you to say from 1 to 10, how do you do that? What is the logic behind this? The logic is something. We start with 1.
Okay.
Every time we add 1 to this one and check if it is less than 10 or not.
Okay.
So we start with 1.
Yeah.
Is it less than 10?
Yeah.
So we show 1.
Okay.
Then we come back, we add 1 to this previous number. We had 1, we add 1 to this one. We have now 2.
Okay.
Is it less than 10?
Yes.
Then we show it on the convert. Then we add 1 number to this again.
Okay.
It's less than 10, show. We add 1, 4, show. 5, it's less than 10, show. 6, less than, show. 7, show. 8, show. 9, show. 10, show. Then the value will be 11.
Yeah. So it will be
Is 11 less than 10? No, so it will not show. Do you get my point? So there is something, this while loop is something like that. We will have some initialization. Initialize. What is the initial value?
One.
1.
Okay.
There will be some condition.
Okay.
And the condition will be inside the while.
Okay.
Inside the while, there will be some increment or decrement.
Yeah,
After this increment means this plus 1.
it's the loop.
Number of iteration, you can say that it's called number of iteration. The number of time the loop will execute.
Okay.
So do you get my point?
Yeah.
So I can write this thing like this. I'll write the code of this thing. How can I write this? Maybe I equals to 1 while I less equal 10. Okay. System dot out dot println. What it will print? It will print I. Then what I will do? I post I plus 1. Println. This total thing is printing.
Okay.
This is a print, just print. This is called function. This thing, what does this thing? This thing, it just shows you function, constant function in Java. It's just constant. It's a function actually, constant. It's a different concept. No problem. The purpose of this line is to show something on the screen. How do this thing will execute? You know, this initialize is happening first. So the value of I will be what? 1. Then it comes here. What is the value of I? 1. 1 less than 10? Yeah, it will show the value. So what will be in output? 1 will go to the output. Then the thing lies, you can say that horse rubbish. How can 1 be equal to 1 plus I plus 1? How can I be equal to I plus 1?
Yeah.
If I say that 2 equals to 2 plus 1, you will say that this is rubbish. How can 2 be equal to 3?
This is the same thing. But this is X. But X is not, it's not logical.
It's not logical,
Yeah.
but computer, the equal sign is not the same as we think in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
This equal operator is called assignment operator. What operator? Assignment of something. This, I gave you the example, the bucket example.
Okay.
We have some bucket.
Yes.
We have some bucket, and the value of the bucket. This is I.
Okay.
Suppose this is I. If we say I equals to 1, the bucket will be filled with 1.
Okay.
So in next line, I can. This is variable, so I can change the value of I. So in next line, if I say I equals to I plus 1, so what is the value of? It will work from right to left. Right to left. It will work from right to left. So what is the value of I? The value of I is 1. So 1 will be added to 1 and it will be assigned to what? I. So this 1 will be deleted after this line. So if we execute first this line, the value will be 1. After executing this line, we will come to this line. In this line, we take the value of I. That is what? 1, and we add 1 to this one. 1 plus 1 equals to what? 2. And now we are assigning it to the what? I. So this value will be replaced with what? 2. You get my point? That's not loop. This is called assignment. This is called changing the value. I told you that we start with 1, then we change the value to 2. Then we change the value to 3. How do we do that? We do it through variable. We are actually changing the value of variable. This is the way to ask the computer do this like this way. This is the purpose of variable. Are you getting my point? So what are we doing? We are assigning this value I equals to 1. So the initial value of is this I equals to what? 1. All computer programs run sequentially, line by line, online. next line, next line, next line. So after executing 140th line, it will go to
142.
42. What is the value of I? This is what? 1. So whenever we are saying I, actually computer is seeing it as 1.
Okay.
1 is less equal 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Then it will go inside 143 line.
Mm-hmm.
It will print I. So we printed it output. And
One.
in this line, what is actually is doing? It's taking the value of I. What is the value of I?
1.
And adding 1 to this one.
Yeah.
So okay, 2. And this 2 is assigned to what?
I.
So after this line, this will be changed, and this thing will be 2. It's alright, it's alright. So now I goes to 2, and inside the bucket we have 2. What is the difference between if and while? If doesn't come back, but while comes back.
Until it was it.
The false condition.
Oh.
Until the condition is true,
Okay.
it will loop through.
Okay.
That's why it's called loop. So now what is the value of I? 2. 2 is less than 10.
Yes.
So what is asking to show the value of I? So we will get output as what? 2. Get my point?
Yes.
Then it will come to this 144th line.
Okay.
And what would happen? The value
The
of I is 2.
Yes.
It will be added to 3. It's gonna be 3. So the value will be changed. Now this the value of I will be what? And this bucket would be filled
3.
with 3.
Okay.
Now this is 3.
Okay.
This is while.
Yeah.
We'll look through
Again.
again. 3 is less equal what?
10.
So it will print what?
3.
3. It would come to this line.
Yeah.
Then, so it will actually, what does it do? It computes the right side value, assign it to this one. So 3 plus 1, 4. 4 will be assigned to I. So it will be 4.
Okay.
So you're getting my point? This is 4. This, just forget about this bucket. I think it will be replaced with 4. No, so it will come back. 4 is less equal 10. It will print 4. 4, yeah, until it will be 4. Then it will be 5. Just wait. It will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, just start with 9. We have 9 here. And it will come here. Then 9 less equal 10. Yes, it will be 9 also. So 9 plus 1, 10. 10 less equal 10?
No.
10 equal to 10. That's why it will execute. Still execute, because 10 if this condition would be like this, or if I less than 10,
it will not be.
It will not. But if we have written the condition k is equal 10, and this condition is true, so 10 less equal 10, it would print 10.
Yes.
It would print 10. Then what would be the value of I? 10 plus 1, 11, and the value of I would be
11.
Then we would come back to this loop.
Okay.
Is 11 less
No.
than 10? No. This is the loop. If we need to do something multiple times, again and again, we will use loop until some condition meets.
Okay. How would we know how many?
Yeah, this is.
What is it?
It depends. Yeah, good. Loops. Yeah. Good. Very good. This is the thing happens because I'm giving the example to show 1 to 10.
The back.
Yeah. Just think the example of a clock. How seconds, how digital clock shows 1 to 59, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, until 60. Then it just goes back to 0. So there is some loop here. Do you get my point?
Yes.
Suppose you have money, different amount of money, or maybe €1, €2, €3, €4. Maybe you have coin to 5 euros, suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do, you want to add all of these things like this one, maybe 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6.
Okay.
You want to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it is up to 6, then it's easy, you can do it by hand. But if it is up to 100, suppose you need to add all the number up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
100,
Okay. It's hard.
we can do it by loop.
Okay. Okay.
Do you get my point?
Yes.
We can do it by loop. We will see that example also. So to get that,
Yeah.
why the loop is necessary,
Yeah. Okay.
it's just a practical example.
Okay. For example, in your website,
In a
how
website,
can you use file?
suppose how many friends are of your friends are online on Facebook,
10, for example.
or 20, might be 30. How it
Mhm.
works? Facebook queries something on its database or cache or memory space to know how many friends do you have. Maybe you have 500 or 1000 friends, and then it checks how many of them are online. So how does it do that? It looks through all the 500
Friends.
friends and check if they are online. If they are online, they return the data to your, and it shows the data.
Another one that okay, it's
It's nothing but loop. You can just see that in this website, there are these things. All of these things are uh, uh, written coming by through some loop. These things are saved in the database. So whenever you're calling database, there is some loop which is generating these 10 items, so, and it's just showing in your here. These things are also loop. These links are saved in database. And all the first, then in the website it's still that read all the values from the database, and it doesn't know how many files are there. Maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 25, because there might be different more links, there might be less links. So what is there is some for loop for every element in the database. Show the elements. It shows like this one. So when you have many elements, you're dealing with many items, then you need loop. If you have few items, you don't need to understand. You don't need loop. Yeah. But you can also, maybe for every data there might be some condition. Then maybe for every data you need some condition also. So if also. Do you get my point? No worries, you will not get it one day, because this thing is not that much easy. But the main thing is that
I understood it.
yeah, yeah,
I just wanted to know what are the functions that
yeah.
yeah.
So how it's working? Firstly, we are initializing, then we are giving this second part is we are giving some conditions, and the third part is that we are incrementing it.
Yeah.
We are incrementing it. I'm just putting some numbers so that we'll understand this thing also, the for loop also. This thing is the while loop. Okay. Another number. Suppose you want to show the number from 100 to 0. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 seconds. How it works? There is some counter. 10, 9, 8, 5, sorry, 6, 7. So do you get my point? So this is nothing. This is a loop like this one. But this is in reverse order. So if you how to write reverse order, like this one, if I equals to 10, while I greater equal 0, system dot out of println I, and we will decrement it by 1. Do you get the practical example now? So inside the clock there is some, this exact same code is written there also, but there is some timer to calculate the second or something like this. Clear about that one? Sure? You'll understand it more when you will do some stuff with this thing. I'm just trying to make you understand what are the concepts, how the hell this loop works. We can also add here I am decrementing by 1, but if we want to show all the even numbers, then we could do like this one. Firstly, this is 10, then it will be decremented by 2. What it would be? 8.
Yes. Okay.
So do you get my point?
Yeah.
If I am asking you to write a code to generate all the odd numbers from 1 to 100, what you would do? You will increment by 2. You will start from 1.
Okay.
You will increment by
2.
2.
Okay.
To get my point?
Yes.
These are the different functions. It's logic. This is called programming logic. And it's not, it's all basic logic. You don't need to know hard mathematics for that one. This is not about computing. This is all about understanding the logic. Okay. No. I'll finish loop function, then I'll think about it. This was while loop. So how the for loop works? Okay.
For loop?
This was while loop.
Yeah, okay.
I think I read
For as in
FOR.
Okay.
For the for loop, that's why I marked this thing. So we need to initialize that there is some condition, and after meeting some condition, there will be some before increment or decrement. It can be increment or it can be increment or some logic. You get my point? And there is some programming logic also. What is programming logic here? We are printing something.
Yes.
You get my point? This program, and there might be more lines. This program is really simple, but this program might be complex. There might be many logic. You know, when for that Facebook online things, what you have to do inside a loop, you need to check all the users that if they are online or not. So there is some complex programming logic there might be. Get it? The for loop is interesting. Here, the while loop, for while loop, this thing is different, but inside the for loop, the structure of for loop is something like that. For initialize, then condition, then some logic. I'll just implement it and I'll select it. So here you see that I'm not put it number 3, I put it number 4 to understanding purpose. It will be easy to understand.
Okay.
So how it works, this initialize works first. I write the same again. Or equals to 1. This is the initialization. And you know how many times this initialization works? Did we come back to this line again ever? This line initializes the value of I equals to 1 once. We never come back here.
We'll always come back to this while.
Inside this while. So here this line will also execute only once. It will not repeat it again. This is the initialization. And what was our condition? Is equal 10. So how this thing will work? What is the value of I equal to 1?
1.
This is I numbered it 1 here. This is the initialize. Then it will check what? 1 less than 10. Yeah, 10. So then it will go to number 3. Programming logic. What is our logic? It will print. Printing logic just. Complex logic or what? If the value of the variable less equal to 10 in this logic, it will be printed. It will be go to the programming logic. After this one, we will increment the value here. Do you get this? This is the loop. This is the condition. So after this meeting this condition, we will go back to here, not there. You get my point? So the value of I equal to 1 less than 10, print it. Then we are going here. We're incrementing the value 1 plus 1. Then the value of I will be what? 2. So then we will go here. So what is the value of I here? 2. 2 less than 10. Just print it. Then it will go back here. it will be 3, 3 less than 10, print here, it will go 4, 4 less than 10. So we just execute this thing once.
Yeah, it's the same way.
It's so with while, but the structure is different. In while this thing is separated, initialization logic and this stuff are
Okay.
different.
But
For 4, everything is a single line except the programming logic.
what's the difference? I mean,
There is no difference. Everything is same. Everything is same. The structure is different. It's all about logic. Programmer found somewhere this thing using this thing is convenient, or somewhere using that is convenient. Everything, every purpose is same, but name different. We can use either a while loop or for loop. It's all about choice. The thing I can write with while loop, you can write it with for loop. So for most of the case I like for loop because I can write everything online. But in some case I also use while loop. So whenever I like, I use while loop.
But the output is the same.
Purpose is the same. Do you get this line also? Initialize condition. So how it works? It initializes. Then it do the condition check. Then it will go to the programming logic. Then it go to increment document. Then it will go condition. Then here. So these things actually looping here, like this one. Condition, programming logic, increment, decrement. Condition, programming logic, increment, decrement. So when the condition fails, it will not execute this one.
Okay. Yes.
You get my point?
Yes.
So far we have learned variable, arrays, all of them are syntaxes. All of them are syntaxes. These 4, this is syntax. This system of println, and this is syntax for showing something. This 4 is syntax for looping something. This while is syntax for looping something.
The syntax is the code itself.
That is the code.
Okay.
This is called syntax.
Okay.
So in C, the syntax is different. It means the code is different.
Mm-hmm.
In Python, the syntax is different. Means that the code is different.
But the output could be the same.
Output could be the same.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The while, the loop, condition.
Yeah, conditions, variables, arrays, conditions, loops. Yeah. And lastly, we will try to understand this function. There are many other programming concepts, but these are the core building blocks of every programming language. There might come other concepts also, but if you know till function, I think you are good with learning any programming language. How do this function do? Suppose you need to add 2 numbers. You need to the function is something that we write some reusable fragment of code. Then use that function multiple times so that we don't need to write that code again and again. Okay. Reusable code. Suppose we will use this loop concept with our function. So how to do that? Suppose we will write a function which will show 1 to a certain number. We don't know that number. We will give it by ourselves. We will give it by ourselves. If I say 10, so it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I say 2, it will print 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I'll give the questions. Write a function which shows numbers from 1 to n. Yeah, where n might be any number. Maybe 2, 5, 10, blah blah blah, any number. You get my point? So if I say if n equals to 5, then output would be what? Get my point? If n equals to 3, then
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
If n equals to 7,
Yes.
then output is 1, 6, 7.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yes.
If n equals to 100, it would print 1, 2, 3, It will print everything. I'm not gonna write everything, okay? It will print up to 99 to 100. You get my point? So we will write this in a function so that if we want to do this thing now, what we can do? We can write how many loops? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for loops sequentially. Do you get my point? Like this one. For just think that we want to show this thing like this one. For this one, for the first number will be 5. Are you getting my point or?
Yes. Okay.
Then print 100. So just think that these for loop, the basic building block of all the for loop is same. What is the difference? This n. What is the difference? This
Number. The value of number.
value of number. How many numbers we want to get? So what we can do? We can write a function, and this function will take the basic code, basic structure code. Just suppose print all number. Void means nothing. It's just a programming syntax. Just remember, void. This is nothing. This is we need to write this thing in with some function.
But void is like.
This is a data type. You don't need to remember it now.
But what's the function?
Okay. Before writing this program, we will write a thing. Add. Sorry. This is a function. This is a function. The structure is something like that. Return type, function name, parameter, function body, and something. This is the structure. So the first thing is called return type. Just see, when we are adding two numbers, we are getting some output. We are getting some output from this function. If we pass 2 and 3, what would be our output? 5.
Yeah.
This 5 would be necessary later. We will save this 5 somewhere. But when we are printing this thing, we don't need to save anything. We will just show everything. So we are not returning anything from that function. So for this thing, it is called null, void. Void. So we are not returning anything. You don't need to remember this thing now. Just think that it is called return type. It's called return type. So void. So what is our structure? Return type, then function name. I gave it a name. What? Print number. This is the parameter. And what is the parameter? This is the data type and the number n. And what we would do, we would just write this thing here. But we will change only one thing. This into n. So now, instead of all this thing, okay. Instead of using all this thing, what we can do, we can use this name and we can pass some value to it. Number 5. So how it works? These 5 will be saved to n. So whenever we are calling this function, this 5 will go as value of n. So now the for loop will execute for I equal to 1, I less equal 5. and it will print all the numbers
Okay.
which will be printed by this one.
Okay.
Now again when we are coming here, it will again call to this fragment of the code. So we are reusing some fragment of code again and again. Do you get my point? This is called function.
Okay.
You will not get everything in a day. You know, this course is taught in the classes for 6 months or maybe more than that. Then you know, I told you already that I didn't get this function thing in on semester
Yeah.
because the teacher was not that much clear to me.
Yeah. How you may understand what the functions instead of database
Yeah.
and just figuring out like this interface.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I know we does
Function names. So now you'll understand these things. This println is some function.
shows the output of
It shows the output. So inside this function is written inside the JDK. We don't need to know what is written inside that function. But the purpose of that function is to show something. We know this thing, and there's enough for us. So when we will use this thing, so there are two type of functions. One is user defined, another is system or programming language function or built-in function. We call that one. So this thing is a built-in function. This println. But this thing is a user defined function. So whenever we have some common task and which reusable task, we use function that time.
especially for example now it's really
Repetitive, yeah. You can also say that repetitive all the concepts.
yes.
Now what I will do, I will start from the first and everything do practically. So far we learned all the basic concepts and everything is all the programming languages has same concept. With this concept you can start learning C++ or maybe JavaScript, PHP, but the syntax might be different. And maybe I use some of the Java syntax or C++ syntax. Now let's see it practically. So firstly, what is necessary? We need to install this JDK because without your computer doesn't come with built-in JDK.
Okay.
So it converted to binary. So I have downloaded this JDK.
Yes.
This is JDK. So we write JDK. What's this one? I don't know why JDK has become that much business minded. Maybe after some years they will ask money. If you want to use Java, you need to pay money. It's still free. Maybe it will be free forever. I don't know. But you know, in their website you need to give your credential to download this thing. They're using some data. Notice there are other programming languages also. But the thing is that we're learning the basics of programming languages. This basic will be necessary all the time, but whenever we are making some big softwares, we don't use it's always necessary to know the basics, but we will not do everything from the scratch. Because I told you last day that we will use some templates, some frameworks. Those will do many stuff for us. But for changing something, we need those concepts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, he also mentioned the
Yeah, it's
concepts and
classes are boring. I know. I don't know. Maybe he was
Or
interesting.
he's interesting, but maybe it's an information
Yeah,
overload.
many information
Maybe
and
it could be like a 3 hour per day. No, we're doing it like 6 hours.
all the day long. Yeah. No, that one.
You know, when you reach the age of that guy, our professor, come on. He teaches like super late. He's high level already.
Okay.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
getting to our level, I get zero.
Yeah, yeah,
The bucket.
yeah, yeah. Because I know if I
This is illogical. It's not cute on the estimate. It's the same thing. So I was like, I'm not listening anymore. I'm just using the estimate. Okay, this is how we do it. I think you like out of the samples he showed.
I know this.
It's like last time shopping you like
Yeah.
head first.
So I think we're done with downloading this thing. We've
What's the
installed.
difference of 64?
Good. This is a good question. That's why there are different type of variables. Actually,
The
not just
class.
for that one. This is
Okay.
an own reason. The bit means
Right?
how we store data on our computer.
Okay.
No, it's not speed. It's yeah, speed is also important because for 32-bit you have maybe 32 buckets you can
Okay.
store. So you can store 32 bucket of data at a time.
Okay. Understand.
And this means that now you have 64 buckets. So you can store more data at a
Oh,
time.
okay. Oh.
So all the data are represented in binary. So
Mhm.
you either you have 32 buckets or 64 buckets.
Mhm.
When we are running some program, it,
64.
yeah, it is getting 64 bit of data at a
At the same
time.
time.
But previously, if it is 32 bit, it's getting 32 bit of data
Okay.
from the processor, something like that.
Mhm.
I'll explain it more clearly later because we are already having too many information. So now what did we do? I just installed that JDK.
Yeah.
Now I can do something like this one. I can write some code here and run it with that software.
Okay.
But this is tedious. Why it is tedious? Because we need to remember all the basic things. If we make error, we'll not get any suggestion or something. That's why we will use some IDE. We will use some what IDE.
Okay.
Interactive Development Environment.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
we can
We
use
discussed that.
either simple text program. We can use simple text program. What are the simple text programs? Notepad, Notepad++,
Mm-hmm.
the Sublime.
Mm-hmm.
There are many more.
Mm-hmm.
What are the IDEs? Eclipse,
Okay.
JetBrains. JetBrains is IntelliJ. I'm used to this IntelliJ because this is smarter one than Eclipse. Yeah, you can also use Eclipse. It's not a problem. Get my point? So I've downloaded IntelliJ already. It's paid version. As I'm a student, I got a license from my university. I told you that. So let me try to install. So now what I will do, I can write code here also. Then it will be read by our JDK.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna do this. Okay, I can do this one. Okay, just try this one.
Okay.
So I'll write a program on TextPad.
Okay.
Then I will use my what JDK.
Compiler.
Sorry, compiler.
Okay.
Not compiler. Yeah, I will write a program on TextPad and I will compile it through our JDK, and we'll see our. It's not a problem. Later, I will use IDE. IntelliJ. I didn't install that one yet, so we just write a program for that. So I'm writing a program named main.java. Let me create a program folder here. So what is the name of the program?
I mean,
I can give any name. Suppose
okay.
when we're listening to some music, we have some name to music. Hmm? No, no. I want some name, some name. Whenever we're writing some softwares, we need to give it some name, don't we?
Okay.
You get my point?
Yeah.
So we're writing some programs, so we need to give it some name. I name it, suppose, this is the name of the program. And this, there is some extension, .java. It means that computer will understand that this is some Java file. You get my point? The extension is Java. For HTML, we write .html. For C, we write C. For C++, we write CPP. For Python, we write PY. So there is some instructions. So this program will understand. So we saved it. So this is show my name dot Java. So every Java program has some basic structure. Some basic structure. First one, we need some class. We need some class. Then create a class.
Yes.
Create a what? Class with that file name. The file name we gave already. So we have to write something like this one. Class show my name. Same. Get my point?
Yes.
And the syntax is like that. We have to keep everything within this second bracket.
Okay.
Get my point?
Yes.
Then create the class name. And we need a main function. Main function. You know, function has this structure.
Every time.
First bracket, and there might be some parameter inside, and there might not be some parameter. So these things are static. You can just memorize this thing now. I'll explain it later. Void main. This is the void. I told you.
Yeah.
This is the void. It's basically null or something like that. You can forget it like that. This is a type, which means nothing. It's really hard to realize in the first time. You'll understand it at the later. Main and works. System.out. And it takes a string. So how do we define a string? Double quotation. Hello. Okay. And after completing every line, we need to give on semicolon.
Yeah.
After this first bracket or second bracket, we don't need to put it.
Okay.
But after every, this is called maybe. We'll understand it later. So now what did we do? We saved that file. Conference. Not tough. So the thing is that this is desktop, this is Java, and this is our file. But I have installed my JDK already. Where is my JDK? It should be in C drive or something inside the C drive. Here, Java. Inside the Java, JDK, inside the bin, we have Java program. We have got Java. This is the Java. This is the compiler. It will compile this code to some binary. There are two programs actually, this Java and Java C. Both of them are necessary to compile because you know this compiler doesn't convert this thing to 100% to binary. It converts to some machine readable format. This readable format is again converted to binary with another program. So get my point? So we need two programs. One is Java and other is Java. So we need to write some command. There is some Java command. You don't need to memorize anything. You just need to remember. Just there is some command. Through this we can run our program. So inside this path we have Java program and the version. This is the Java runtime environment. So how can we compile this file? To compile this file, we need to know the path of that file. This is the path.
What did you do
With the right click. This is with the right click, and
to this one?
just copy this thing. Copy this one. Control C.
Okay.
Come here and press the right click. Or you can also do this thing after it. Take the mouse cursor over the panel and edit, and you can also paste here.
Ah,
Both are the same.
okay.
So our file, this is the folder name, and our file name is something like this one. Okay, I'll go here. Show my name. So I'm giving Java command to this one. Which I don't do with the compiler, that's why it's well, I made some mistake. So the thing is that the compiler is Java C. Java compiler. This Java compiler will compile this file to machine readable file. Okay. So we made some mistakes. System.out.println. So I made some mistakes. Empty. I didn't know it earlier because this thing, this Sublime Text doesn't give us any suggestion or errors. That's why we will use IntelliJ or Eclipse. And even we need to write this thing in our command line to generate all the files. So now I just press the upper button and it just gives me this thing. I'll press enter. So just see here. We have another file. Show my name dot class. So our Java file is compiled to class. This one. This is machine readable file. If I open it with maybe I can increase the line. But you will not understand anything. To get it? So how to run this program now? To run this program, I told you we need a program that is a Java program one. Compile it through Java C and we run it with Java. Java, give the name of the file. Just name. We don't need to give the class extension. Show my name. It should work. I don't know why it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. Let us install. Okay. Install this IntelliJ. Maybe it's not working. So you understand what's the problem of writing code without? Out of course, it will be helpful. But to learn, for learning purpose, it's not good because it will give you lots of suggestion. It will reduce your productivity because if you write now, what should I do? I should figure out, I should find out somehow why is the problem, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing this one.
Yeah.
So I'm not learning where was the problem actually.
Mm-hmm.
It will take time. That's why I'm not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I needed to do some. Actually, I need to set the Java variable. Actually, you will not understand because it will take time to understand. So already I gave you lots of information. I don't want to give you more about some unnecessary stuff. It's not unnecessary. It's necessary actually.
But
I'm setting environment variable. It's called environment
okay.
variable. So you don't need to do that.
What's the problem?
Okay.
Anyway, we'll figure it out next time.
Do you want to learn? Actually,
Yeah.
I didn't. Actually, the thing is that I have installed JDK on Windows, but I need to configure it to run a program. I didn't configure it, and I tried to run it. I didn't know that uh, it yeah I know how to configure and I know all the steps, but I was experimenting that without configuration is it possible to run or not. But there is some problem if I don't configure. So now I configured it. There is something I just say the basic concepts. You don't need to. So you need to copy the path inside. Copy the path and you need to add it to the environment variable. This is called environment variable. You can forget this thing. It's not necessary. I'm just telling you that what happened. I just copied this path and added to the environment. I get path and I just copied it here. I also there is another path. I also copied it here also. And just save it. Okay, just save it. Now I can access from anywhere this Java program from anywhere. Previously, if I want to execute this thing, I needed to go this place. Now I can go any location. You don't need to remember this one. It's alright. So now what do? I just wrote the code on Sublime Text and I just write CMD and press enter. It opens this path. This CMD is just pointing C users to desktop Java. That path, and inside that path I execute JavaScript command I'll revert this class file again. JavaScript command to this file show my name.java and it will be converted to class file. Compile it and this kind of cursor is generated. Now I will run with Java command Java show my name. I don't need to give dot class because it works automatically. Now we're getting this one. So we can also write another file. Maybe we can control C, control A, control V. Yes. Print all dot Java. So now just change this thing here. Maybe I want to print from 1 to 10 for I 1 I less for 10 I plus plus. Println. So now what I have to do? I have to firstly compile this thing. So Java C dot Java.
Okay.
It compile everything and you know like on another file will be created. Print of Java C print of first created maybe Java the name this is I told you.
You have to change it every time. Oh yeah, they told us that it has to be the same.
Yeah.
So you have to compile it again.
Yeah, we have to compile it again. If we didn't create that file.
You have to delete it.
Class name, print all things that we can show. Java C print all. Oh, Java C print all Java. Yeah, let's compile. Thing. Now we need to use Java. So you get that? So what we can do, we can write all the code in some text file, like this Java file, and our compiler will convert it to the program. The output. So, but now what we would do, we will use IntelliJ. So these are the two programs, show my name, print all. Then what we have learned. So do you know that how to create a file now?
Yeah.
And we have to create some file, and we are missing the second thing in that. Yeah.
But this class, is it this class? This is the class.
This
is class. Okay.
In Java is object oriented, so everything is packaged inside a class.
Yeah. Okay. This download it is.
Yeah.
And they just use us to perspective, perspective package, platform, not design, but from scratch.
From scratch. This is the basics.
This is
This should be taught in the class, I think. Because now I will show you how to.
because we taught us how to use the software. Okay. This package.
Yeah, there is package. Yeah, I'm not. This is how you compile a file, but in a bigger project you can't compile everything line by line, because you know here you have to compile it, then run it. Here we compile one file, but in bigger project there will be hundreds of files, thousands of files. Then we can't do it by hand. Then we will leave this work to our IDE. And if we have hundreds of files, we will structure it we'll give some like folder. What do? You make some music folder, put all the mp3 file on that. You use video folder, put all the video file that folder. You get my point? So inside our project we will make some package like this one. Suppose we have to do with user, we have some user classes. We'll make a package related to user. Maybe we have to do some authentication, we'll make another package related to authentication. So this is called packaging. I logged in with my account. This is opening. We You can also continue writing code on our here also
Sublime, but it's
Sublime.
but every time you have I really wanted to do.
Yeah, this is basics. Maybe you will learn. Maybe not now. If you want to do some coding in your future life, if you do, it's no problem. So here we can't in through when we are working with some IDE, we need to create some project. Here I didn't create any project. I just created a folder and put some files. But now through IDE, it expects you to same with scripts. So here are many things, but we will create some basic Java command line application. Make a command line from the template. Just give it a name. To put it, I can put it in desktop. Inside this Java, create a Java. Folder name which is name. It doesn't matter. This is called package. You don't need to bother about it. Just keep it as it is. So I have created the project inside this Java folder. So video is going on. I think if you need any help, the video might be helpful. If it works perfectly. You know, it has created a file already.
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
It has created a file already. This is called package structure. Company. com.company. Inside this one you can create different package. If you right click here, it will give you some option to create multiple package. The thing I told you that maybe we need to do some work related to user. We can create a package. Just right click new. We can create some package. User package. Maybe user package, authentication package, different packages. But here I'm not bothered about this packaging things. But if you are working with project and if you have some package, then you need to specify the package name. It's not necessary if you just move this thing to the source file. Oh, it's not ready yet. The thing is that it's just okay. I don't need to remember. But I think so far the thing I told, I think the basic is almost clear.
Yes.
No worries, we'll go through all this stuff. Maybe it will take maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes more. It will not take too much time because we have understood all the basic concepts. I just want to get rid of this package name. Down. Yep. Just delete this thing. So now get that. We are done with this thing. This is the basic structure of any program. So do you want to take water? You can take water and then come back. You can go room. Sure? No, I'm still. Okay. Okay, now I'll take too much time. I'll just go through all the examples as fast as possible. Okay. What did we learn? We learned variable. So I'll create a file named variable. Okay? Java class Okay, I have created a variable and I'll write public static void main.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are different type of variables. This int a equals to 2, int b equals to 6. Now we are changing the value of a to 6. You get it? This now we are printing a. Now we are printing b. What would be the value of a? It was 2, but it was replaced by 6. So it would be now 6. And the value of b would be 6. So if I run this program, so you know, you
How do you run?
just right click and run.
Yeah, what he taught us
In Eclipse it's different. It's Eclipse empty. Yeah. More or less same, you know. The basic concepts of all the things are more or less same. So this is 6. So there are different type of variables. We may have string variable. String may be message or to hello world. Okay, so if I print this message, you know, I'm using all the functionality of the ID. I'm not writing all the thing. I'm not writing system error. You didn't notice yet, maybe. I'm just writing maybe SOUT. I'm printing enter and yeah, this is a suggestion. Not a suggestion. I'm printing enter. It's writing this one for me. Maybe I have another age, maybe float. Wait. Sorry, 65. Let's learn why I withdrew. F. Yeah, these are the different type of variables. We may have some characters also. It is running. Checking, building, running. It will show everything. You don't need to worry. Hello. Maybe we can write character ch equals to maybe c. Okay, and we can also create a array. This age equals to new int of maybe we are taking 5. Age of 0 equals to 5. Age of 1 equals to 2. Age of 2 equals to maybe 10 years. Age of 3 equals to maybe 3 years. Age of 4 equals to maybe 55 years. We can write age of 5. How? Because this array is 5 size and the index will end at 4. You get my point?
Because it's starting 0.
Yes, we are starting 0. Now you will see how I will print this one. For int I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. System of println age of 5. How it will always say to me. What is the value of I? Initially, what is the value of I? 0. 0 less than 5? It will go system of println and it will print array of age of 0. This one is like this one. Age of 0. So it will print 5.
Instead of putting this one.
Do you get my point? It will go here. Then the value of I will be 1. 1 less than 5. It will print age of 1. It will print 2. Then it will print 10. Then 3. Then 55. So do you get it for this array? And we can use loop with array to
if there are multiple arrays, we can
multiple elements. Yeah, multiple
elements.
Array is simply single one array, multiple elements in the array. So you know it has printed everything. 5 to 10, 3, 55. Clear? Okay. So the index is from 0. So instead of creating 5 variables, we can create, instead of 5 we can create 55 things also. It is not a problem. Get it? Okay. So now we have to write some condition. I'll create another file for conditions. I will write 2 functions. I didn't write everything. I write PSVM and put enter. It tries publish the required for me. Okay. So the thing is that I will write 2 programs. Int number equals to maybe 5. If number modulus of 2 equals to 0.
What is percentage again?
Remainder. It will give me the remainder. It will divide number and give into 2 and take the remainder.
Okay.
And it will check if this equal to 0. If it is 0, then what is the number? If it is 0, then it is even. And if it is not, else it is
Automatic. Okay.
so the syntax, look at the syntax. If this thing, then print this one, else print this one. Clear? So 5 is a odd number. So how it will work? 5 mod 2 will be 1. 1 not equal to 0, so it will come to else. So the another helpful feature of IDE is that we can debug the code.
Okay.
Yeah, but in IntelliJ it's smarter. You'll check that one. But I can just try to run this thing. So I will go online by online. Firstly, this line will execute. Third line, then it will go to second line. Now check what is the value of number 5. It shows that. It also shows here. Now it will check. It will do 5 modulus of 2, and this thing would be this thing would be 1. Just check. Value of this total thing would be 1, and 1 equal to 0. No. So this total thing is false. So it would go to else. So if I go online by online, it will go else, and it will print odd. Get my point? And it will go this one, and after this one it will finish, and it will print this odd thing. To print it, you can just run it. There are 2 modes. If you want to run it with debug mode, you need to put some breakpoint.
Yes.
This is called breakpoint. I put some breakpoint. But if you just want to run, you don't need to put any breakpoint. Just run this thing. It will run and it will show odd. But if you want to see how the program will run line by line sequentially, you need to put some breakpoint. And if it is running perfectly or not. Get my point? And this is a program. Another one is now if here we can also take another variable also, and we can do int remainder equals to number mod 2, and instead of passing this total thing, we can pass remainder also. Do you get this? Do you understand this thing? We just compute this thing earlier.
Okay.
Clear? If I take the breakpoints, now we will see. We have 2 variables. Firstly, the value of number will be 5. This is 5 now, and now the number of variable, the remainder is 1. 1 not equal to 0, it will go to and ultimately it will print. It will print what? Odd. Yeah. Clear? Problem? So now we will check positive, negative number.
Okay.
So give me a variable name. H equals to, maybe suppose give a positive number h. If h greater than 0, print it positive. Okay? H equal to 0, system of println.
What is
Change the equality. If the left side and the right side is equal or not.
Okay.
Single equal is assignment operator. That's why we don't use that one. Else, you know how it will work. We will get our code will come to here and put some breakpoint to make you understand. This is 5, and we will execute. Now it's h5. 5 greater than 0, yeah, so it will go to this block. So none of the block will work. Get my point?
Yeah.
If I go to next, all the blocks are executed. It doesn't enter all of them. But if I put maybe -5, get my point? And if I debug it, now it come here. What is the value of h now? -5. Is -5 greater than 0? No. Then this is block execute. No. It will go to else.
Yes.
Now it will check. Is it 0?
No.
Then it will go what?
Yeah.
It will print. And we can check another thing also. Now put it to 0. Is 0 greater than this value of age will be 0? Is 0 greater than 0?
No.
Is 0 equal to 0?
Yeah.
This is 0. And it will not go to else.
It will only exit into
All of them. If you put if else.
Mhm.
You get my point?
Mhm.
So we can't write else if without an if. So there must be such if
Mhm.
before else if.
Mhm.
But we can write something like this one. We can write multiple if age equals to 5, do something, then if age equal to 3, do something, if age equal to 9, do something.
Okay.
Here all the line will execute because it's not else if, it is if.
Okay.
So else if means if all of them
Is
valid,
okay.
then do not execute
Okay.
any of them.
Okay.
But if you write all of them if, it will check all the if conditions. Get it?
Yes.
So I think we are done with if condition.
Mhm.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now what? Now we'll see loop. Already see loop already.
Yeah. Sure. You put it.
So what we would do? We would do this while loop here.
Mhm.
Equals to what? 1. I print 1. I, yeah. Equals to I plus 1. So to get how it will work, I think we saw it practically. Now we'll see it by Java. It takes a little bit time because you do it does stuff. Yeah. So that thing we can also do with, maybe we can print them to all the even numbers. We can also do is maybe for loop also. Let's initialize the value to 1 again, because you know the value is changed now. It is now 11.
Yes.
If we don't change this one, it will the value of I will be 11 here. So I change it to 1. So I put to 1.
What? What do you mean you change it? Okay.
After this line,
It's 10.
it's 10, but it would be 11 when the loop will break.
Okay.
So if I don't change it to 1,
It will be 11.
it would be 11. We don't need to write this one also, because you know this is I. We have declared I already. We don't need to declare. What do you need to declare? We put int sign to initialization. We initialize it already. Now here initialize a skill is we're giving this, we are updating this value to 1 again. Before this one the value is 11. Do you get it now? How it's 11? Because for this 11 this loop breaks.
Yeah.
Equal 10. Okay, I plus plus. Printing. That's it. And some so we can understand that to separate this both line to make you understand. There is no. Do you get it? This thing is coming from while loop. This thing is coming from for loop. Get my point? Is there anything do I need to say about loop now?
No.
I think we can start it later. Now we will see function. This function is also called method. I call function because it's common in our programming language. What is the name of our function? Is it a problem if I copy this name? No.
You're asking me?
Is it a problem or I need to type? I think I don't need to write type because I wrote already. I need to write static. You don't need to remember why I need to static, but it's necessary for now because it's Java. So I think we are good with it. And after printing this one, just I want to print separate line separator so that we can understand that. So we will get many output because for 5 we will get 5 for loops. For 3 we will get 3 output. For 7 we will get 7. For 100 it will also. It's a lot. So just run and check if it works or not. How does it look like? Yeah. This is how program works. So first thing works for 5,
Yeah.
second one for
Separate.
3. So if we put some breakpoint here and some breakpoint here,
It was for the timer.
it will show how it works. So just
Okay.
check, just for we can debug and we can check how it works. So it will come to this first line first, and it's saying that it's calling some function. This is the function.
Yeah.
So if I go online forward, it comes here. So for this one, the value of n is what? 5. So this for loop will execute 5 times.
Okay.
Now it prints the separator.
Okay.
Then it goes back to this line,
Yeah.
second line. You get my point?
Yeah.
Second line.
Balance.
And for this one, it will again jump back to this thing with the value of 3.
Yes.
With the value of n equals to
Mhm.
3. And now it will execute 3 times. Here.
Yes.
And for this one it will execute 7. Now blah 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 10, 10, 100%. Get it?
Yes.
Okay. I also wrote a add function. You know, it will work something like this one. The purpose of this function is to print all the number from 1 to n. The purpose of this function is to add two numbers. We can write many functions as much as we want. So whenever we will need any common things which would repeatable, then we can write some function for that one. Get my point?
I'm not really getting this part, but yeah, I'm aware.
You're aware of it. So you know what is function. This is the thing now. You need to practice to understand all the things. This is the thing. So I think I have covered so far the basic concepts, all the basic concepts till now.
Yeah, actually, it's the basic concepts that he taught. Now, I think
Can I stop it now?
yes.